Huh. Hey, Harris, I'm going to use you for a second. Can you hear me?
Yes,
All right.
sir.
Cool. Perfect. Give it a few more minutes and the guys are rolling in.
Right. Oh, because
All right. Oop, still pouring in. Hold on 1 second. 63. Pretty good. Four. Harris, you playing football this fall?
yes, sir.
What possession right now?
I'm not really sure because I got sidelined a little bit ago with like an injury. But on defense, I think I'm gonna be an end. Not sure about offense right now.
There you go. That's awesome, man. All right, I'll give it one more minute. I know guys are still going to be rolling in, but appreciate you guys getting on this call. I'll try and condense it to about 30, 35 minutes. I know you guys have, other things to do on a Sunday, but appreciate you guys getting on this call. And I encourage you guys to participate as I go through. I'll call on some guys or feel free to unmute your mic and participate as I go through it. It's more fun when guys are, you know, cameras on and interacting throughout the thing. But the goal for today, and we're going to follow up a lot about this throughout the year, throughout the season, is just setting goals. I know it seems kind of minor, but no matter if you're in fourth grade right now or a 2024 getting ready to finish out your club career, like setting goals in every area of your life is super important. And there's a certain way that we want to introduce it to you guys that we think is the most beneficial way. The way you think about, the way you set goals, and things like that. We'll kind of go through a little bit of that today. We'll have a follow up one in a couple of weeks to kind of go into more detail. But if you guys have any questions at any point, feel free to unmute your mic, or I think there's like a hand raise feature or something like that. So can you guys see the presentation? You can just do a thumbs up on your camera if you see it. If you guys are on a cell phone, it might be easier to go sideways. And then if you hold on your phone and pin it, it'll just pop up there for you guys. What's up, Colton? See the thumbs up over there. All right. Admit some other guys real quick. All right. So goal setting workshop. So our objectives today, just kind of overview. You guys see the next slide? All good? Perfect. Importance of goal setting, kind of set some short-term goals for you guys, long-term goals, what exactly that means. And then a lot of this too is going to be some self-reflection on your end. What are my strengths as a player? What are my weaknesses? What are things that I bring to the table right now? And what are some things that I need to improve on? And, this is stuff that I've been doing. I've been practicing this as a player. This is actually an exercise that my high school coach used to do with us every single off season before the season, and that we carried into my college career. as a young coach, and I continue to do this each year because I really do find a lot of benefit from it. And it started off as something I would do for sports related activities, and then as I got to college, it became academic goals, and then after college, professional goals and things like that. So hopefully, no matter what you guys are trying to accomplish in your life right now, whether it's lacrosse related or not, maybe it's academics, maybe it's friends, relationships, you can kind of take the same mentality and put it into place. So hold on, some more guys rolling in. 73, pretty good. All right, so first, oops. Before we begin, too, if you guys have the ability, you don't have to right now because I'll send a follow-up form that you'll fill out. But if you guys have a piece of paper, a notebook, I like index cards. If you have something to write with, I want you guys to kind of participate in this activity too, if you're able to. So I'll give you guys like a minute if you want to. I know some guys are still rolling in right now, but just to recap, if you guys have the ability to write this down, that would be awesome. It's just going to be, you could fit it on a small index card, so a piece of paper works well, but this will allow you guys to kind of get into the habit of, writing this out. And like I said, at the end of this, I want you guys to keep that piece of paper or index card or whatever you have. I think I still have my index card from high school somewhere. I think it might be in my wallet, but it's just a cool place for you to be able to look at and reference here and there. But at the end of this call, at some point today, I'm going to send your parents a form, and then you can actually upload your answers onto the form, and that way we can collect it. But none of your friends or anyone else is going to see this. It's just going to be between me, some other leadership guys at Team Carolina, and then yourself. So we want you to be as honest as possible, and I'll share some of my stories and takes on this so you guys can see how this works. But before we get into the goal setting, I want you guys to first talk about yourself. What are your strengths as a player? Let's talk lacrosse right now. Like, what are your strengths as a lacrosse player? And if you guys have a piece of paper handy, I want you guys to just write something down. Bullet points, sentences, whatever is easier for you. But I want you guys to be honest with yourself right now. It's okay. I'm on one of our leader select teams. What is something that probably stood out to the coaching staff that got me to play on this team again? What do you think you really excel at as a player? And if you have the ability to type it up, write it in your notes section on your phone, or the best thing I think is getting a pen or paper and writing it down. I'll give you guys about 90 seconds maybe, and you guys can elaborate on this more after the call. But, I want you guys to be honest what you think you bring to the table as a player. Let's see what we got on here. We got Noah on the patio, I think. Jackson yawning over there. I see him. It's like Clarky wearing a cowboy hat. Love that. All right, perfect. So once you've done that, it should be just some highlights of you as a player. What are some of my strengths as a player? Next piece, as you guys can imagine, what are some of your weaknesses as a player? And be honest with yourself. What are some things that you're struggling with right now? Whether it's, I want my offhand isn't where it should be, or I'm not as fast, I'm not as agile, I'm not the best player with X's and O's or remembering plays. Like whatever it is, write something down that you think, and these are some of the things that if I can improve on, I'm going to become a better player. All right, perfect. Next piece, why set goals? So I'm going to either someone can step in and say something, or I'll just pick some people that I see on the screen. Why do you think it's a good idea to set goals, guys? Could be anybody. All right, Harris, you're up.
I think it's important to set goals so that you can like see so that you can track your progress over time and that you can hold yourself accountable to something. Like say you set a goal to go outside and hit the wall for 15 minutes a day, like you're gonna be more inclined to do that rather than just like telling like the more specific you get, the more inclined you are to do it and then like actually see yourself make progress and you can track your progress over time as well.
Absolutely. Being able to measure your goals, having clarity and focus on, what exactly do I want to achieve? And like Harris said, it's hard to, accomplish something if you don't set a goal. It could be like, hey, I want to do X, Y, and Z, but unless you specifically say, hey, I want to improve my right hand. And if you identify a goal like that, we can have actionable steps that you can take to accomplish those goals. And some other things about setting goals, it's a piece of confidence too. If you're able to slowly, you know, achieve the steps to get close to your goals, that's a big confidence boost for you. It's like, hey, my offhand is getting better. I'm getting faster, and then with that, you guys become more confident in yourselves. So that makes sense. Does anyone else have anything to why setting goals is so important? I'm gonna pick on
I
Noah.
got
We
one.
got Noah.
Oh,
Oh, we got Uriah.
I,
You know, bud.
I think it's like it gives you something to work for. Like you're like, I really want to do this, and then you're gonna push yourself to get to that. Like if
Exactly.
you're gonna do the right things, and it's gonna get you there. And then you set a new one, and then you can see the improvement over time. And then soon enough, like you're gonna be a really good player, and like all the goals that you accomplish, they're gonna be small things because obviously people at this age you're gonna be good at like the bigger and broader things. It's like get ground balls and stuff. So then it's like work on feet, like different passes or different shots that could get you better. Like they could get you better opportunities and get your teammates better opportunities. So it's the small things that you can work on.
Absolutely. It's the constant continued development, like being able to, like he said, first it's this, got that done. I can go on to the next one. But yeah, setting goals for you guys, no matter how old, how young you guys are, super important development process. I know that you guys are members of this club and we'll be practicing a bunch of times during the week, but if you guys don't set personal goals for yourself, you're never going to be able to, at the, what we'll do some exercise at the end of this, but you'll never be able to reflect and be like, hey, did I get what I wanted out of this experience? Did I improve on skills I wanted to? Did my team perform to the ability that I wanted them to? So that's why I want you guys to start thinking about this now, and hopefully translates to other areas, school, academics, etc. But right now, it's like, I want you guys to set goals for your lacrosse development. And we're going to divide that up right here. So has anyone ever seen this before? The SMART acronym? So it's pretty much a really great way to identify what goals should be. And you and Harris and Uriah both alluded to it. It's something that's specific, for myself, I'm getting out of shape a little bit, me specifically saying I want to be in better shape. It's not specific enough. My goal should be I want to go to the gym 5 days a week. That's specific, it's measurable. Did I go or did I not? Is it achievable? Am I, with the time that I have, am I able to go and do that? Is it, impossible? No. Is it achievable? Yes. Is it relevant and time bound, which we'll talk about in a second, which means setting a restriction for yourself. A lot of times when, if my goal, like I said, was to get in better shape, and I said, hey, my goal is to get in better shape with no time bound, then I don't really hold myself accountable. Does that make sense? As opposed to, hey, I want to be in the best shape of my life in the next 90 days. And I'm going to do whatever I can in the next 90 days to accomplish this. Does that make sense? So the next piece, we're going to work backwards. We're going to work on long-term goals. Let's see. Noah, what do you think a long-term goal is?
It's a goal that you achieve over like a long period of time. Like it could take multiple years to accomplish.
Exactly. So a longer envisioned goal, like who's the person that you want to become a year from today? Is it, you know, like I said, better stick skills, more athletic, more confident, whatever it is, that's a long-term goal. All American, all state, varsity starter, making the JV team, making the middle school team, whatever that looks for you guys, that's a long-term goal. Something that's not in near sight right now. Like if we have some high school guys in here, I'm sure, we'll talk about it a little bit, but some of the long-term goals that some guys should be, or maybe some freshmen that are entering high school right now. My goal is to, make the JV team. My goal is to make the varsity team. That's a long-term goal. A goal that's, in my definition, past 6 months, if that makes sense, as opposed to short-term goals are the next 3 months. And when we talk about short-term goals, those are things that we're building to achieve our long-term goal at the long term. So let's see. I need a high school guy. Eli, my man, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Eli, I'm gonna put you on the spot, but what is a long-term goal for you? Let's talk high school season. What's something for you at the end of the spring you want to accomplish for yourself as an individual?
A long-term goal that I have is probably like being all conference this year, and then maybe my senior year being able to be a captain, and then getting all conference again.
Love that. So guys, like Eli had great goals right there, very specific. Just if you go back to the smart analogy, specific, measurable, achievable. Hey, by the end of this spring season, I want to accomplish this. It's specific, it's measurable, it's achievable, it's relevant. And I'm gonna stay on you, Eli, for a second. This is the mindset I want you guys to have with setting your goals. So Eli, your goal you said was to make all conference, right? For this year. My question to you is, what are some things that you think you need to do right now to prepare yourself to be an all conference player? Like, what are some habits? What are some things that an all conference player should be doing?
A conference players definitely you need to hit the wall a lot, probably like 15 minutes a day. Keep grinding, going out, getting working, and then taking it very seriously with your high school coaches and your club coaches as well, taking everything they say to you into consideration every practice, every game.
Love that. All right, so now I'm gonna twist it to you. Now, if I asked you, Eli, if my goal for you or the mindset for you for this spring is I want you to be an All-American this year. All right, that's my goal for you. I want you to be all region or all state, even All-American, all state. Did that change the level of output you would do from now? So you just told me you would do, wall 15 minutes a day, take care of some stuff on your own end. But if your goal was to be all state or all American, how would that change things? So what would you do differently from what you just said?
Probably just take everything I said and just ramp it up. I mean, All-Americans like a crazy honor that you have to get, and people that get All-American are some of the hardest workers I know. For instance, I had Brooks on my team this year at RGKL, and he's probably one of the hardest workers I know. Every time he stepped on the field, he took it so seriously. He just said that he's going to win this game for us because he knows that's what he has to do in order to become an All-American and go to play high-level Division I lacrosse. So you have to take in consideration like hitting the gym every day, and then just keep working on your own time, like extra hours, extra days that like your club and high school don't give you.
I love that. Great answer. And he alludes to a part that we'll talk about later, like having, role models, guys in place who can help us, a guy who's been in that position that you wanted before, so you can kind of look up to him. But, Eli alluded exactly to what I'm trying to talk about. So he said, I had a goal of being an all conference midfielder this year. And this is how hard I'm going to work to achieve that. Then I twisted. I was like, hey, what if you had to be an all state, all American player? How much harder would you have to work? And he listed X, Y, and Z. So whatever goals that you guys have that we'll talk about in a little bit, I want you to kind of flip the script a little bit. Because my challenge to Eli now, and I'm going to hold him accountable, is why don't you have that mindset of I'm going to train like an All-American? I'm going to train like I want to be an all-state person. What difference does it make? You don't cut yourself short, right? For myself, a long-term goal when I was in high school was I wanted to be a 3-time All-American. Was I ever an All-American in high school? I was not. But I trained my butt off every single day throughout the year, club ball, academics, relationships, to try and be like, hey, what does it take to become an All-American? And I'm not telling you that it's going to happen every time, but if you work as hard as you wanted to become an All-American, you're going to be leaps and bounds better than what you would have become if you try to just be an all-conference player. Does that make sense so far? You know, it's kind of like that expression, you know, you shoot for the stars or something like that. I can't remember. If someone remembers it right now, you can say it, but always set your goals a little bit higher, you know, and just because it's going to cause you to work a little bit harder. And Eli showed me right there by just talking about it out loud. He's like, yeah, there's a different level if I wanted to achieve this higher level. So my challenge to you is set your goals a little bit higher. It's still achievable, but that's going to make you guys work a little bit harder. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's go back real quick. Back on your piece of paper, I want you to write down now, knowing everything we just talked about, a long-term goal for yourself. And I'll keep this PowerPoint up right here. You know, be specific, make sure it's measurable, it's achievable, it's relevant, and it's time bound. So this is something where at the end of the spring next year, so mid-May or end of April, this is a goal that I would love to achieve individually. I know we have some young guys here too, so it could be, you know, I want to, you know, make the A spring team. I want to become a starter. I want, you know, something like that. Leading scorer on my team, leading points, you know, etc. Be a captain, you know, really achievable, measurable goals. Give you guys about like 15 more seconds. All right, so next one. We just talked about long-term goals. Now we're going to talk about short-term goals right now. So we just talked about long-term things that we want to accomplish by the end of the spring next year, right? This is our future self. I want this, you know, if I'm Harris, this is the Harris I want to be come May 15th. You know, getting ready for the summer. This is the Harris I am. I'm sure knowing Harris, you know, be a starter on varsity or something like that. I know he's pushing himself to be the best he can be. Now the short-term goals, we're going to break it up into seasons pretty much. So this fall season, what are your goals this fall as a player? And after the fall, we'll do the winter. After the winter, we'll do the spring. And hopefully by breaking it up this way, it's a little bit easier to keep track of, a little bit more achievable. And we can, you know, monitor after every couple months, like, hey, am I on the right track? Do I need to change things up? So the goal of the short-term goals is it's going to help you become the person that you just wrote about at the end of the spring. You know, what are some of the short-term goals? Leading points, cause turnovers, captain, leader. Win tournaments. Improve my offhand, get faster, you know, run this time on my mile, etc. So make sure it's, to reference again, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So time is the fall season. So pretty much now until the end of November. And a big reason I want you guys to write this down is you're taking the first step to holding yourself accountable. And we'll talk a little bit about this at the end, but you're right now telling yourself, like, this is what I want to be. These are what I need. This is what I need to do to get here. And that's the first step. So you've already outlined in your head, whether you wrote it down or not, how to get there. And my job and your teammates, your coaches, is to hold you guys accountable. You have a goal in mind right now, and it's our job to help you get there. And that's why I'm excited to, like I said, for the guys who weren't here earlier, I'm going to send a follow-up form to you guys after this, where you or your parents can help you write up some of your answers. It'll be on a form where we'll have like profiles on you guys, and I can be like, after the fall season, Harris and I will hop on a one-on-one to Harris. Like, these were your fall goals. How do you feel like you did? And then we'll go through it. Do we need to adjust anything? Do you think this is going to help you get to what you said your long-term goal was? If Harris says yes, then perfect. Let's keep trucking. If he says no, hey, let's adjust a little bit and see what we can do. Is it achievable? Is it relevant? Is it measurable? And we'll kind of go that way. Next piece, a little bit more self-reflection. I know this might be tougher for some of the younger guys. For my middle school, high school guys, this is something that is more relevant to you. You guys are going to be in the locker room. You have guys that are older, younger with you, and this is something that is going to be challenging. I'm excited to see how your answers change throughout the period of time, but I want you guys to be brutally honest with yourself and write down, like, what type of person are you today? And by what I mean by that is the person you are today, are they even built to reach those goals at the end of the year? And if the answer is no, that's perfectly fine. But the first step is to identify and own up that, hey, I'm not there yet. In high school, when I set my goals of being a 3-time All-American, if I asked that person then, what type of person was I? I was a procrastinator. I hated waking up in the morning, so I didn't really want to, get up at 5 to work out with the team. I only did extra stuff when I had to, and I liked weightlifting, but not the weightlifting that would exactly benefit me as a player. That was the type of person I was. I didn't handle adversity well, but acknowledging those parts about you are going to go a long way. So if your goal was, I'll take Eli for example. If his goal is to be an all-state midfielder this spring, and he says something like, "Hey, look, well, the person I am today, I don't really like going to the weight room. I don't like hitting the wall on extra days, X, Y, and Z. I don't really monitor my diet. I don't do X, Y, and Z." Then that's a good first step. You're acknowledging that, hey, I'm not there yet right now, but I know what I need to be to get there, right? Or what type of person are you in the locker room? Like, if I had to interview your teammate, my high school guys, what would they say about you? Is he Eli had a great comparison to Brooks. He was the hardest worker. Is that the type of person he wrote down for himself? Is he the hardest worker in the room? Is he someone who motivates others? Is he someone who wants to win at all costs? What would somebody say about you in the locker room if we said, hey, what type of person is a Harris Hatcher, or a John, or a Uriah, or a Gavin, or a Noah, or a Colton? The next piece that kind of plays into that is, what type of person do you need to be? Like I said, for this last slide, this is still something I'm continually developing and progressing myself. What type of person do I need to be to lead you guys, these young men in the club, to reach your goals, to play in college, to become better young men? What do I need to be? I need to set an example for you guys. I need to be accountable. I need to be responsive. I need to be available. And at times, am I always that person? No, but that's the person that I need to be for you guys. And my question for you guys now is, what type of person do you need to be for yourself to accomplish your goals? But what type of person do you need to be in the locker room for your teammates come springtime, when you're playing high school or rec or club or whatever it is? And just kind of write that down. And hopefully it's different. Hopefully it's a different version of what you wrote before. It's like, hey, I need to be a harder worker. I need to, get kids out and train with me. I need to take the underclassmen under my wing. I need to I need to make doing extra work the cool thing to do, because that's sometimes a thing, especially at the high school level where kids are, putting in the extra work. And some older guys are like, hey, he's a try hard. Hey, that's not cool. Like you're doing too much, but maybe you need to be the guy who makes it the cool thing to work harder or to take care of your nutrition or to put in the extra time in the weight room or, going off and doing extra things like that. But what future version of yourself do you need to aspire to be in order to reach the goals that you wrote earlier, right? Because none of us are perfect. None of you guys are perfect right now, but the more we acknowledge what we need to do, what we need to be, the better we're going to be off. Does that make sense? So make sure we're writing that down. Make sure, just jot some stuff down. What type of person do you need to be? What type of person are you right now? And some of the things you can think about, like what will people say about me? And then what type of person do you need to be? Like, what is the biggest thing that your teammates need from you to take that next step, to win tournaments, to win the state championships, to do X, Y, and Z? Coach Warren, appreciate it. Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. Exactly. So back to the goal setting piece. That's it. That's exactly the mindset we want when we're setting our goals. Like achievable, but push for more. Hold yourself to a higher standard. So this is just, I think, might be one of the last pieces, and I think we're pretty good on time, 30 minutes. But you've written things down on a piece of paper, or you've thought about it in your head, whether you liked it or not. So of things that you need to improve on, your strengths, your weaknesses, what your short-term and long-term goals are. The kind of person that you are right now, and you have an idea in your head, the person that you need to be to become successful. And there's some tips and tricks, some things that you can do on your own end to make this easier. The first thing, accountability partners. I know a lot of our long-term travel guys, like you either go to the same high school, middle school as a lot of these guys, or you've been teammates for a long time. You guys, have probably similar goals. Some of my best memories of high school, college were my best friends and I, packing up a ball bucket, getting in our car, driving to the nearest wall at our school, and just doing wall ball. We'd have music blaring and we'd hold each other accountable. Okay, we need to do wall ball every single day for 30 minutes. I'd grab my best friend. We'd go to, I'm from Virginia. We'd Stonebridge High School. We'd have our car lights on. It was dark and we'd just be hitting the wall, listening to music, having the best time, but we held each other accountable. There are days where I was like, man, I don't want to go out. I don't want to. And JP's like, Ricky, we have to. Come on. So whether you're that kind of person or you have someone like that in your life, have an accountability partner. And at the same time there too, you guys have phenomenal coaches at Team Carolina, phenomenal coaches if you're on our select teams, and use us too. You can verbalize and let us know what your goals are. We're going to see it. So we can make sure it's like, hey, Harris, you told me you want to develop your left hand. You told me you want to improve your shooting on the run. Let us know too, so we can hold you accountable on what your goals are. And then the last piece that I personally love and trying to get back into was the mirror phone screen. So let me ask, let's see. I see John Sorensen from the USA. So let's see. Yeah, John will put you on the spot. So in a second, when you write your goals, when you have your goals, my biggest trick that I learned from my high school coach was put it somewhere that you're going to see it every single day. Whether you wake up or something. So John, what's a place in your house when you wake up that you see every single day?
Probably like right on my kitchen island where I eat breakfast, put it right on the wall in front of it.
Exactly. Right. You're gonna eat breakfast every day, so maybe somewhere in the kitchen where you can write down your goals. Something that I hope everyone does is probably brush their teeth, wash their face, or something. So something that we used to do was, I don't know if the expo marker, but expo marker right on the mirror. Ask your parents if it's okay first. But if you have your own bathroom in your room, but literally write down, visualize it, high school All-American, All-State, or develop list, and write down your major goals in a place where you're going to see it. So when you wake up in the morning, you're about to brush your teeth, you're looking at it. and it's in your head. So you're making the conscious decision to do something to get close to your goal, or not do something. You know, if on my mirror, it's probably, you know, uh, like I said, get in better shape, go on a couple mile runs or whatever. And if I look at it, I'm like, all right, in order to get to my goals, I need to run, eat healthy. And then the next part of my day, it's on me consciously. Am I gonna do things that get me closer to my goal, or do things that aren't? Sometimes if you don't remind yourself your goal constantly, you're just gonna forget. So you need to hold yourself accountable and be able to see it every single day, or maybe your computer screen. You know, I know a lot of you guys you're on your computers, or I know everyone's on their phones. Maybe it's something on your phone, like home screen or your lock screen or something, where it's just like, you know, wall ball, something simple, something you can see every single day. So you're like, man, it's raining, or it's 105 degrees out right now. I don't want to do wall ball. It's on my phone. It's on my mirror. It's like, all right, I'm gonna go do wall ball. You know, things like that. I know seems silly, but these are little things that are gonna create such a big effect on your long-term goals. And I challenge you guys to take action today, because we have some time before the fall season starts. We're gonna try and introduce some fall training at the end of the month, but just because we're not training till September doesn't mean none of you guys should be keeping a stick in your hand. None of you guys should be in the weight room or going on runs, eating healthy, you know, crushing your academics, because the more you wait, the farther away your goal is going to be pushed, you know. And you guys are high level athletes right here, and you know, I'm going to hold you guys to a higher standard. You know, you guys all wrote down goals that you guys have for yourself, and then it's on us, like I said, to continue to push you guys to get to those different areas. Like I said, the next step after this, you know, you guys hopefully wrote some stuff down, or you guys remember some things in your mind right now, and I'm gonna send out a kind of like a Google form. So it'll pretty much have, you know, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, you know, who are you today, and all the questions that we talked about. And I want you guys to, you know, refine what you wrote down, put it on this form, so that way our coaching staff can have it with us, and we'll have our 2027 folder. We'll click on it. We'll see Harris and everybody there, Harris and John, or 2029s. We'll see Gavin, and 2025s. We'll see Eli. So we can go in there, and our goal is to be able to look at this as a coaching staff and be like, hey, these are their goals. Like, what can we do as a staff to help them achieve their goals? What can we do to hold you guys accountable? And then at the end of the fall season, at the end of the winter, end of the spring, the goal is, you know, like I said, Harris and I are sitting down. It's like, hey, your goal was to be a varsity starter and contribute as a freshman, and you did it, man. Like, awesome. Now what's next? You know, so that's my goal for you guys, is to have these short-term goals, long-term goals, but start thinking about it differently. You know, I'm not saying you're going to accomplish everything you put your mind to it, because you won't. You know, like I said, I wrote down I was going to be a 3-time high school All-American, college All-American. Wasn't even close, but man, I worked my butt off just so much harder because I had those goals. And I hope you guys are able to accomplish that too, because the sky's the limit. Lacrosse is that beautiful sport where you don't have to be the biggest, fastest, strongest kid, because take care of your stick, take care of your IQ, and do the right thing, and things will work out. But you guys can hit obstacles along the way, and part of the sports is to help you overcome those, right? Like I said, you're not going to accomplish everything. You're not going to check every single goal that you have on your list, but you're going to be a much better overall person by setting higher standards for yourself. Make sense? All right, pretty good. So 38 minutes. That's 5, 6, 7 minutes better than I expected. So does anyone have any questions right now? Questions, comments, strategies that you guys have that have helped you accomplish goals, anything? All good. All right. So, like I said, follow-up steps. I'm going to send you guys a form at some point today. I'll send it to your parents. And then when you guys have a chance, like this week, I encourage you to do it today, just so it's fresh. But just write it, you know, fill out that form. Be as honest as possible as you can. All right. You know, be honest about yourself. If you're if your true weakness is developing an offhand and you're saying, I have a good offhand, then that's not going to help you. You have to admit what you need to be better at, and then we can identify the steps to get there. All right. So I'll send that form to you guys. And if you have any questions or need anything, just let me know. Reach out to me, shoot me email, shoot me a text, and we're going to continue to do more calls like this every now and then. We have a nutrition one coming up, how to fuel your bodies, and then it's just some more, age specific things. Our 2025s will hop on a recruiting call on Wednesday, and then 26s will slowly get into some more recruiting discussions. 27s don't have to worry about recruiting right now, but we're going to start introducing some small concepts, and then our younger guys will keep you in the loop with some of the things that we're doing for the older guys, so you can see and envision some of the things that we're going to accomplish down the road. So I think we're all good right now, guys. And a good question. The Zoom tomorrow. If you guys were on this Zoom today, no need to hop on it tomorrow. It's just for people who couldn't hop on the call today. So I'm sure we'll have a good amount of people showing up tomorrow. Same exact thing. If you want to hop in, you can, but you guys will get the same exact content as you did today. So yeah, appreciate you guys. I'm recording this too, so I'll upload this at some point if you guys want to rewatch it. But be on the lookout for a form that I'm gonna send out. Be honest on yourselves, set some goals, and I'm excited to see what you guys put down. So appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate you.
Thanks,
Coach.
guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
You guys.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Coach.
Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
See you, fellas.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
See you, fellas. Have a good one.
Hey, Coach Reyes,
Up, Harris.
you literally said like every goal that I had.
I know. I know some hardworking
Like
guys
me.
when I see them. Be a varsity starter.
Shooting on the run, left hand, like everything.
Yeah. I was thinking about you the whole time. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, man, you're a tough worker, you're a hard worker. I know you're gonna be able to, make the steps you need to get there. Big year for you guys.
Thank you. See you, Coach.
Appreciate you guys.
Ricky.
What's up, Uriah?
I don't know if
How
you
is
can hear
it?
me. I don't know if you can hear me. I just wanted to say, I'm going to move into my dorm. I'm like an hour and 20 minutes out. So I
That's
just wanted to say
exciting, man.
thanks for hooking me up with